Hi guys, it's Amy with Aim to Plan, and I am here with a small stack of things because we're going to be kind of putting together our own planner pages today. So I have been organizing my space and just looking at like archiving and recycling really all of the old pages that I've had. It's been a couple of months since I've done this, and what I did was pulled out all of the pages that I'm not planning to keep long term. So these are the ones that I would pretty much just put into recycling, but I thought I would try to at least get a second life out of these. So all of these pages that I have right here in front of me are pages that where I just used only one side. So I'll just do a quick flip through. Actually, what I'm going to do is flip it all the way over because there's actually some private information on some of this. But these are like, for example, some of the what do you call them? Like puzzles that I've been doing. And then I know I wrote on this one, but I didn't write on this side. And then here's a currently and, some monthlies. I know I wrote on the side of this one, but this side of the checklist is empty. So like basically I wrote on just one side of all of these sheets of paper. And what I'm going to do is really just kind of put together like my own planner pages, or at least pages that I can reuse again at some point. And this is really simple. I'm just going to be using double-sided tape to put together some of these pages. Now I'm going to start with this one just because I think this is going to be the easiest. So for like any kind of happy notes that you're using basically just one side, if the pattern on both sides is the same, this is really easy. I like to, especially if there's no writing on it, like this one, even though I wrote on basically the same side where the disc is punched, or the punches are on the left hand side, I like just to flip one upside down, and then I can just put them together, and then it looks like, I mean, as long as I tape it together, it looks like I can just reuse it, right? So I love being able to do this just because it feels like a brand new sheet of paper, even though, it's not. So I'm just going to tape it down, try to line it up as closely as possible. And now I have a double-sided micro note, right? So I think happy notes are like very easy to do that for. The rest of this might be a little bit more complicated. So first of all, I need to sort out by size, right? So obviously my big pages will go together. And the way I sort it is like I look to the punches, right? So obviously with like happy planner pages or planner pages, you're not going to be able to flip it upside down really. You want it to, read the writing to read the right way. And so for this, I'm going to be looking and creating a set of pages that have the disc punched on the right hand side and then a set where the discs are punched on the left hand side. And I'm just going to sort them out like that. All right, that's actually it for my planner pages here, at least the big. And so what I do at this point is just try to match them up and see if I can create a double-sided page. And, the big doesn't actually work. All right, so that was not a great example. I'm going to move to my classic size now. So again, I have a set where the discs are punched on the left-hand side, the discs are punched on the right-hand side, and yeah, so I have 3 pages. Now, obviously this is a budget sheet, so it's kind of singular and it kind of lives by itself, but these two are actually a pretty good match together. So again, like there's writing on the other side, so you can kind of see that. But if you tape the writing together, then you end up with basically a page that will work really well for like essentially creating your own monthly, and so I do try to at least match it up to where it's going to be things that make sense together, right? So it's not like just random pages that I'm throwing in there, although I can, as a functional planner, totally use like random pages. But here, like if you had a divider and you needed like the second half of the month and you only wanted to use the monthly, now you've pretty much created that for yourself. With this more neutral layout, I think, it just works great to be able to do that. And since I've already written on the inside, now I feel like I'm not wasting a bunch of weekly pages putting this together. So yeah, so that's kind of how it works. Now the rest of the pages didn't really match up. I will still be sorting through my space trying to find some of these things, but I also do this with like all the pages. All right, so again, like right here is the page that's not been written on, here's the page that's not been written on, and you can see that the seams are like opposite of each other, so I can basically take these together, right? And Again, I love doing this just because it then just feels like, okay, this is like way thinner than the Happy Planner paper, okay? I need to be careful here. Okay. But I love being able to do this because then it just feels like a brand new page, right? So I do this a lot of times with like planner pages that I decorated and I ended up not writing on, or like I ended up writing only on like the first half or the second half of the week. These are like great ways, or like this is a great technique to kind of use some of those pages up. I personally don't like to use any pages that like I decorated and then like have even just like one or two words written on. So stickers, fine, but writing, I feel like, you know, at that point it's a used page. But if I have just stickers, then I'm willing to kind of like put together and piece together some pages that look like this. I think I might like try to like go through my space and see if I can find a couple more just as examples, but I think you kind of get the idea here of like what I'm talking about too. Okay, so I went through my space and I actually found something that I do want to try to use in September. I think, and this is kind of like mid-August, so I might change my mind in the next couple of weeks. But I think what I'm going to do is actually try to move back into using classic size for my September planner lineup. So, you know, sneak peek for some of the things that I might be doing here. But I know that I had like just a couple of weeks ago put together like this random set of pages. And one of the random sets of pages that's in here, these are just like random sticky notes that I probably see like this. It has writing on it. I'm just going to toss these. Even if it has one word on it, I feel like I have to throw it away. But anyway, these pages I had redated. You can see here I had written on these, at least this January one. But then some of these other pages I did not write on. So if I took out basically January, because that's the one that's written on, and then these pages are like pages that I had like touched and like new stickers on, but like the stickers I feel like I could just like re-sticker it up and just reuse it. I'm going to pull out basically the inner pages. These are like inside weeks, right? And then here is a page where, I mean, I basically for social media only use the weekly pages. So I'm just double checking to see if there's any writing on here. Okay, so I just need the inner pages right here. And then here I have this page right here, which I'll line up with the punches. And then this page, which is like the page with the currently on the back, right? So I'm gonna stick all of that right there. And what I'm gonna do is, for these pages at least, try to match it up so that way I can get two double-sided pages. So again, the way that I really like to do this is to match these pages up to where it reads as like, okay, so this is not going to work. This is a page that I pretty much would never use. Actually, no, I might use it. For social media, sometimes I just like to like have a monthly that I can put the photos that I post to Instagram. So I'll have at least one like monthly at the beginning. All right, so we're going to try to make this a continuous thing. We'll see how this works. All right, so I'm going to like basically tape these two pages together. Must be out of tape, or like I totally ruined it with like the way I did this. All right, be right back. I had to go grab another one just because that one with the cryptograms that or the puzzles that I glued together or taped together, it's like messed up the rolling action itself. So again, I'm going to try to line this up as best as I can. Basically, I just try to match up the punches. All right, and then I'm going to use this as the beginning page essentially. So let's stick it right here. I've gotten out of the habit of printing photos for my social media, so I don't know that I'm even going to use that. But then the page, the one page that was written on, the January, I basically taped down. So now it flips open to where it's just like right into an open page. And so these pages I did put together for myself. And so, you know, it ends up being where like you have these pages and like now they're all kind of like out of order and stuff like that. So I'll have to redate it anyway. So yeah, that's all good. I actually enjoy redating. So, all right, here's another example. Like these pages didn't actually have any writing on it, but the back side is the like monthly calendar. So I could do one of two things. I can basically create it to be a monthly calendar, but this is 2021, so it is outdated. Either way, I'd have to redate this, or I can tape this part together and then it will be a double-sided page like this. And that's actually what I'm going to end up doing, is taping it on the inside, or taping, you know, the currently to the monthly. And then what we end up with is, again, a double-sided sheet like this. All right, so I know I was kind of like all over the place, but hopefully it makes sense. Like, you basically can put together things that don't make sense to you. For me, when I have writing on only one side and like something blank on the other side, I do want to try to at least match it up and try to get use out of the second side. So that's the goal here. In some cases, especially like this last example, I don't use the monthly really in my social media, and I don't really use it in my I don't really use the currently page in my social media. So it's just fine for me to be able to block it up and kind of put it like that. And again, like, I'm setting this up and talking about it as social media, but I actually have a plan to maybe change this into my food log. So we'll see what ends up happening with September. It could be that I split it up and there's multiple pages, so I could probably have multiple pages for like 2 separate sections of my Franken planner. Anyway, all that's going to be in my September lineup video. We'll see how that goes and like what I end up deciding before September. You know, I personally don't like to waste things, so I try to get use out of all of my pages. Even if I've written on one side, I'm going to try to get use out of the other side. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel, and until the next video, bye guys!